Hello. So a while back, I made a bread recipe. It was made with almond flour and flaxseed meal, and it was very good. It was delicious. But a couple issues I had with it are, number one, I think I might be sensitive to almond flour just based on the way that my stomach responded to it. Now, it could have been anything else in the recipe, but I just, when I make things with almond flour, I seem to have that problem. So right now I'm avoiding almond flour. I am going to try it again sometime in a very, like, I don't know, simplistic form, as simplistic as I can get it to really test if it's the almond flour that I have a problem with. But I'm not doing that today. Uh, and then two, it's also very calorically dense. And so what would happen is I think it was about 200 calories for like one slice of the bread, or two thin slices, but like one serving of the bread, which is just like for me, then I end up having a hard time getting all of my protein in because I'm just too full to eat more. And I don't want that. I want to make sure that I am getting all of my protein in. It is like the basis of our entire body, pretty much. So I want to be getting that in. And so I tried to find a recipe that would be less calorically dense, would not use almond flour, but also be low in carbs. And I didn't really find one. So I used ChatGPT to help me create this recipe. So it's going to be made with oat fiber. So this has in 1 teaspoon, it has 4 carbs and 4 fiber. So it is zero net carbs. What this is like the Okay, so actually I'm going to read it right from here because it's the easiest. So it says, not to be mistaken with oat flour, oat fiber is made from the hull of an oat, which is the outer shell of the oat kernel. After separating the hulls from the oats, the hulls are ground into a fine powder. This insoluble fiber has a great water absorbing ability and dissolves easily. So that's why it's no carbs, even though it's like oat, because it's not the seed part; it's the outer husk of the seed. So I'm going to use that, and then I'm going to use Bob's Red Mill golden flaxseed meal. I do like the golden better than I think it's like red or something. I just like the flavor of it better. And then I'm also for kind of like the powder or flour part of the bread, I'm going to be using some whey protein isolate. All right, so I am preheating my oven to 350 degrees, and I have my loaf pan that I have sprayed some olive oil spray into. I need 3/4 of a cup of my oat fiber. So I've got my quarter cup measuring spoon. Sorry, measuring cup. There's one. It's really fine. 2, and 3. Like even just like trying to close it, all this like powder is coming out. Okay, definitely don't want to spill that. And then I need a 1/2 cup of my whey protein powder. So my traditional cup that I use, like if I'm measuring this out to put in my coffee, is a 1/4 cup. So I'm just going to put in 2 scoops. And I need 1/3 of a cup of my flaxseed meal. Okay. And then 2 teaspoons of my baking powder, which I have to find a teaspoon measuring spoon. I think this, oh, yep, it is. All right, and 2 teaspoons of this. 1 and 2. And a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. 1/2 teaspoon. And then a 1/2 teaspoon of my xanthan gum. I usually I usually don't like to make recipes that call for a lot of ingredients. I like the simplicity of recipes with just a few ingredients, but I really wanted to try this bread. Okay, so I've got all of those in there, and my recipe doesn't call for this, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm just going to blend together these dry ingredients just to kind of help give them a head start on being mixed. It's just easier to mix them when they're in this dry form than after you've added some liquids to it. All right, so I need how much milk? A quarter cup of milk. So I'm using my Fairlife whole milk. And I need a half cup. No, wait, I need a quarter cup. And then I might need some more. So I'm going to get this mixed together, let it sit for a little bit, and then see if the dough is the right consistency. And then I might need to add like another tablespoon or two to the mix. I need a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, which I should actually shake this up before I do that. And then I'm going to need some oil. I need 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And then I will need 4 eggs. 1 tablespoon and 2 tablespoons. I like to crack my egg on a paper towel just because I find that it makes cleanup easier. I hope this is good because 4 eggs is like expensive. Eggs are just like really, really expensive right now. So I hope it's not going to get just wasted. There's 2. And a lot of times what I'll do is when I'm trying a new recipe is I will just start by making like a half recipe or maybe even a quarter recipe, just depending on how easily I can, get it down. Like if something calls for 1 egg, like trying to get a quarter of an egg is just difficult and stuff. So I wouldn't do that, but I try to get it down to as few ingredients used up as possible. But when you're talking about a loaf of bread, like I I would need like a half loaf pan to like say cut it in half to make it cook appropriately. So I don't really have that. So all right, I'm gonna get these eggs all blended in, which this may not be the best tool for the job. I think I'm gonna switch. I am kind of funny because I want to use the best tool for the job, but I also hate unitaskers, and I hate dirty dishes. So like if I can use a tool for several different tasks so that I don't have to wash more dishes, then I absolutely want to do that. But I also want to use the best tool for the job. I'm I'm a conundrum. Okay, this actually is looking pretty good, but because of those ingredients that are in here, I don't just want to be like, oh yeah, this looks like a dough, and so I'm going to put it in my pan. I do want to allow it to sit for about 10 minutes and then mix it again and see if I need to add any milk. Okay, so I totally did the mixing of it to see if it was the right consistency. It is a little thicker than it was like when I first, had stirred it together, but not bad. And it really still has that consistency of, say, like a banana bread or something like that. Um, I forgot to hit the record button when I did that whole part. So I mixed it up. It seems to be a good consistency. I put it in my pan. I'm going to get it into my oven. It needs to bake for 30 to 40 minutes, so I'll check it at 30. All right, it took about 35 minutes for it to get baked through. I used the toothpick test to test it. Um, it seems pretty firm. So I'm just supposed to leave it in the pan for about 10 minutes and then transfer it to my cooling rack. So that's what I'm going to do. And then once it's cooled off enough, I'll give it a try. Okay, so it was really difficult to get out of the pan. The avocado oil did not help. I had to cut it through the middle to kind of like scoop it out from the middle. It was difficult. It smells really good, but it feels pretty dense and dry. But I am going to give it a try. I'm actually going to, well, you know what? First, I'm just going to try it on its own. I feel like I've been chewing forever. So it is really, really dry. It definitely needs some more oil in it. I don't know if that's olive oil or if it should be butter or something, but it's definitely extremely dry. Um, it's not so dry that I can't eat it, but it definitely needs something to go with it. So I'm going to try it with a little bit of butter and some jam that I made. All right, so this is a blackberry chia jam, and I will link to making that in the description. It's a pretty thick piece of bread. I probably should have cut something a little smaller, but it's really not bad. Um, the flavor's okay. It's pretty mild. Been another long time chewing. Um, Pretty mild, but kind of has this like hint of like healthy, which is probably from the flaxseed meal. But it's not bad. It's just dry is the thing. So I think if you, ooh, maybe I should make it into a French toast. That might be a really good idea. So it's not going to be a great bread replacement for like sandwiches, but I think I can do something with it.